I'm not sure. I don't know this stuff. Um, Apologies for the delay. Um, um, where were we? Yes, we're back at the this new minor, and we gotta make this a half step, right? How do we do that? Oh, I need to share. Hold on. Yep, that makes that a half step. So let's double check these. A to B, is that a whole step? What about B to C? C to D, is that a whole step? D to E, is that a whole step? E to F, yep. And then F to G sharp, is that a whole step? Are you sure? F to G sharp, yeah. I'm gonna give it the name A just for now. There's a reason I'm calling it A. We'll get to it. It technically doesn't have a name. It's a whole step and a half step. So it's like you add them together. And now there's or same effect when you don't play it, right? The same kind of thing that happens with B and C. Same pull happens. Listen to that same pull. Um, and that has a lot of harmonic value, you know? Um, that pull, because of its harmonic value, let's call it harmonic minor. Um, right? Does that sound like a good name? Yeah, that's what professionals call it too. Um, there's one thing about this though. It's kind of hard to sing that interval, no? It's harder because it's not in the natural mode. Um, this weird. How can we fix that? I don't know what if that makes you use intervals, the ones before and after it. Yeah. Well, there we go. Those are all easy intervals to sing, and it's a lot easier to sing as like a melody. I don't really call this melodic minor. That sound good? These are generally in like classical music, the ones you'll see. It kind of differs in terms of like old Gregorian chant doesn't use this. We'll get to what it uses. It uses the best scale. Um, but these are a lot of times you'll see major, see natural minor, you'll see harmonic minor, and you'll see melodic minor. Usually when you're in minor, you'll see a mix of these. Um, so in reality, you'll see a scale with 10 notes in it. Um, that'll look kind of like you have A, B, C, D, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A, right? But rarely will you actually play them like this. It'll be like substituting them for different notes and all that. These are basic scales. Um, how about we try to make some natural minor scales? Well, let's make a bunch of these scales. Or, you know what, first, let's think about this a different way. Do you want to give these numbers? I feel that'd be more useful. Because we were talking about the notes, right? But like, if this does the exact same thing, we have to call everything in a fully different note. That gets confusing. If they all have the same harmonic function. What if? There are 8 notes here. But these essentially function as the same note. What if we call this? Here's an idea. And I want to know if you follow it, if you vibe with it. We call this 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth. 5, 6, and then 7, and then when we get back, why don't we call this 1? Yeah. How does this sound? Cool. Let's just remember this is major. What happens if we base everything off of major? It's like when we're talking about something, we always name these intervals relative to the major scale that starts on that note. Funnily enough, can we make a major scale out of A real quick? You mind doing that? Where do we start? You A, starting on A. Where's that on the staff? Let's say under it. Yep, 2 ledger lines. And then what's the next note? Mm-hmm. That's a half step, which is correct. Mm-hmm. That's exactly it. So I'm gonna, real quick. Don't these two look a little similar? There's one difference though. Did you point that out? Yeah. So what if we base it off the major? And let's call this, let's set system text. What if we call it one, like we keep everything else the same? Maybe one, two, three, oh, four, or let's keep the numbers the same. We'll come back to it. Come back to a different note. Call this a seven. Call it the one. What if we call this the flat three? Because it's flat compared to this. Yeah. Is that fine? All right. I technically don't know if that's actually how you do it. I'm going to copy this over because it's easier. Well, the difference between that and melodic is that's flat, right? Let's call it the flat six. Glad we're in agreement so far. We had natural. Oh, what happened? Oh, it deleted that. Hold on. And what's the difference between natural and harmonic? Yeah. So if we flatten that, how's that sound? Flat seven. And that's our naming scheme. We'll get rid of our A major scale. So these are remarkably similar. Um, here's there are people, like my theory teacher, try to argue that the minor scale is not real. Um, they're like fully, it's not real. Um, now I'm under this usually leads to philosophical conversation about what reality is. Um, I mean, if you think about this, if you use melodic minor, blues music is essentially major with a flat third, and you just use both the three and the flat three. So it's essentially a variation on it. And if we need so many changes to get it to um, closer to the major scale to make it sound quote unquote better, it's not real. I want to know what you think about that. You can articulate it better, but I want to know what you think. Well, to play, I don't want to say his name. It'd be really funny to say his name and then advocate. To play a theory teacher's advocate, um, the major scale is based off of a lot of things. It's based off of ratios. I briefly talked about that. This is 2 to 3. You got 4 to 5 here. There's a bunch more. I think this is like 8 to 15. Um, 4 to 3 or 3 to 4. A bunch. They're like all based on stuff. So there is kind of a natural major scale that exists in nature. Um, it's not really that same kind of thing for minor. I really like that. You mentioned something. You mentioned something that I want to touch on. You said that there's a relationship between these two, right? The major and natural minor. It's that they have the same note names. This one starts on the 6, right? That's touching into modes. That's how we get the minor, is we start on the 6. All of these are pretty. You start in the right place, so you can mess with them. Some people really like starting on the 4. They're wrong. Um, they're wrong. Some people really like starting on the 5. They're wrong. Some people like starting on the 2. They're right. They're also probably Catholic. Um, that's a funny joke that we'll get to later. It is very Catholic. There's actually a reason. There's actually a reason. But we'll get to that when we get to that. Let's try making some scales. Give me a note, and we'll major, natural, minor, harmonic, melodic. Let's make it. D sharp, what mode? Or what scale? So let's call it E flat. It's gonna be easier. That does not sound like a right? Mm-hmm. Right. Correct. Mm-hmm. I'll show you where we started. So let's listen to it. Nice work. How will we try a minor? You get to choose what minor scale we do. And we get to choose what note. A flat. Can we call that G sharp? There's a reason. We'll do a fun one, but later. But we're just gonna do kind of normal ones. And can you choose what minor we're gonna do? Harmonic minor. Okay. There's two ways to think of this. Um, you could either do the major scale first, or you could just do whole half, which is the start of every minor, whole half, whole half, whole half. And then just think of it as a major scale from that note. And then stop where you started. Um, for this one, let's do that second method. This one's harder to do if you're thinking major scale first and then flat. No? Think about it. It's B because we already have G and A. The next letter is B. This is why I said G sharp and not A flat. Right? Mm-hmm. Think of it starting as B. Think of it as starting on B as a major scale. Yep. And that's natural minor. How do we get it to harmonic minor? Seven's already sharp. What do we do? That's right. This is F double sharp. That little X means there's two sharps. It's weird. The notation for double flat is a lot simpler. It's just two flat symbols. It's two B's right next to each other. Double sharp is this cool X. Triple sharp is you have like a hashtag and then X. Um, but this is how you'd write it. So even though it looks weird, and we're using double sharps, which a lot of people don't like, this is the most accurate way to spell this because each note gets a different name. Let's go through it. G sharp. Well, you take the lead. No, you. Mm-hmm. Listen, you're getting good at this. All right, so let's listen to it. Sounding right? I mean, A sounds like this. Sounds quite about right. Certain measures at end of score. All right, insert 200. Wow. Um, can we try doing this? Can we do a fun major scale? This means fun, as in people don't use this almost ever. People don't touch this. I'm trying to think. Can we try doing A sharp major? Right here with A sharp. It's half step up. What's a half step up from A sharp? Or sorry, whole step. This is major. Plus, from A sharp up a whole step. That's correct. Oh, I did a thing. Anyway, That's right, because it's two above C. It's a whole step above C. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Close. Very close. That's right. Because it's two, it's a whole step above G. And then what's the last note? Right. So let's listen to it. There's an easier way to spell this. That's why sometimes, even if you like sharps, sometimes it's better to use flats. Because look how much simpler it is to use flats. There's a technique in which one you choose. Um, we'll get to that. Circle of this. Pretty soon, I think. Well, think about this. It's A sharp. That's B flat. So these are the exact same thing. This one's just compensating for the fact that it's so much lower. This one just has to lower a couple notes. This one has to sharp every single note. And usually you don't want to do that unless you're insane in your list. Um, most of the time, the most you will never see a double sharp in a scale that's not minor. Um, this is actually the best way to spell this. Yeah, because this is, hold on, this is how I would spell it. The other way is this. Which, I mean, it works. The thing is, because this is so related to B major, um, you'll see this so much more often. You'll see G sharp instead of A flat almost every time. Think of it again. You almost every time you think of this note, you are thinking of it being the note directly under this note. That's what we call leading tone. So it's always a weird note when you're thinking about it. Having it be like this is a lot easier. There's also the fact it's in a key signature. Well, A flat is too, but it's in C flat, which has seven flats. And then instead of putting a double sharp, you put a natural on the G every single time you play it. This is easier to think about. Um, and if it really bothers you, it's one of the only reasons to use seven flats in a key signature is when you're in A flat minor. If you're in C flat major, I don't know why you're using it. Anyway, you've done a great job so far. How about we talk about some more theory stuff, right? Let's talk about intervals. So we're gonna start combining those. We're gonna stack them on top of each other. I'm gonna switch to 6/4 right here. We're gonna use eighth notes. We're gonna have C, right? We'll have C on the bass clef. Remember, these C's are the same, right? Let's hear what C sounds like with every other note there. All of them. I'm going to spell them a certain way. I will explain why they're spelled this way. Let's listen to it quickly. See, can I combine these? How do I copy this? Oh, what the? What did I do? What is that? That does not sound good. I do. That's two. That's two. Yeah. Absolutely the easiest way to do this. It didn't even work. Oh, it doesn't even do the thing I wanted to. You play them at the exact same time. We're gonna fix that by. So we have a couple of these in the major scale, right? I want to make this a lot slower so it doesn't. Alright. This is called a unison. So you play two notes at once. Simple. It's a unison. This is the octave. Remember, these are 10 different pitches, but they sound like the same note. Let's look at the ones that are in the major scale. Do you remember this is C major? What's the next note in C major from C? Perfect. That's what C and D sound like at the same time. Do you remember what number we gave D in C major? This is a major second. It's in the major scale, and it's a second note. What do you feel about the major second? Yeah, not the most harmonious. This is one of the dissonant intervals. Um, yeah. What about, what's the next note? And what do we call it? Yep, because we called it the three, and it's in the major scale. The major third. How does that sound? Yeah. No, it's really consonant, which means it sounds natural to our ears. Um, it's also really pretty, no? Sounds really sweet. What about that next one? Mm-hmm. That's you would think. We technically don't call them the major fourth. There are two intervals that are so close in like so easy to make out of simple ratios that we call them perfect. That is a perfect fourth. And the other one, so this is made out of 4 to 3. The other one's made out of 3 to 2, and it's a perfect fifth, the G. It's hard to say, but we consider the major and the minor ones to be the exact same. So a major fourth and a minor fourth, we consider it to be the exact same. Minor technically doesn't mean the minor scale, and major absolutely means the major scale. Minor technically doesn't mean the minor scale, it means the Phrygian scale. It's weird why that is, but you don't even know what a Phrygian is right now. We'll explain it later. But minor tends to mean right below it, except for these two, where we consider this to be the minor and the major. It is a perfect interval. And hold on, you can hear it with like, listen to the emotion in the major third. And then listen to the emotion in the minor third, which is a half step below it. Yes, there's an emotional quality to it. Is there much of an emotional quality to this? No, right? Here, watch. If you can use the kind of the ba 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 ba, it can start to sound minor, like it twists and forms.